Go, week 3. How is everything going with the biliary dyskinesia cholecystectomy? Well, it's a mixed bag. How am I feeling in terms of any sort of pain? Nothing, not to write home about in terms of what it used to be, but it's tapered off. At first, I had a massive improvement, and I think that's sort of been my downfall, that I've accidentally started falling back into old eating habits and forgetting myself. Not necessarily all the time, but certainly in those bigger meals that are, you just sort of enjoy, and you think, okay, bum, 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 oops. And that's what's happened. So I've woken up a couple of mornings with that same hunger, need for the toilet, and just a little bit of a cramp. So I have started taking, like I mentioned previously, some bile tablets, and they do help. I'm not too sure if I'm going to sort of mess around with, trying different brands out, different amounts and whatnot. But I had a drink here a minute ago, and I do know where it's gone. To get back to it. Totally distractible when these are on. But I did promise that I'd do this. I've got to go pick my little boy up from just around the corner at school today. So sort of try to limit my time, because I know I have a tendency to waffle on. I can't watch my own videos back without thinking, my God, get to the point. So with that in mind, as I'm progressing and learning, hopefully I'll be able to do this a lot more condensed. I should really write it out and plan it, but I'm not gonna, because this is the nature of life and all that comes with it in terms of going Now, what's been the major upsides? I've now started to be able to reintroduce spices. I think I might have mentioned that previously, but throwing in a couple of, I made I want to say traditional. It's not traditional, but at least sort of a version of the Thai soup, and it was all going so well, but it was just missing that kick, and it's the kick that makes it. So I threw in a couple of red chili flakes, and I thought, give it a try, wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow came round, okay. Next day, that day, I put in a little bit more, and then the day after that, a little bit more, and I think my body can, work with it now. The fats, because the whole point of the gallbladder is to pump out what's basically a detergent, for lack of a better word, that breaks down those fats into lipids so they can, work their way into the body. I will say that in terms of cognitive function, I've noticed that I've started to remember where things are. And I know that sounds like, a really pedantic little thing, a little finite, everyone does that. Everyone can do that. But when you've not been able to do that for years, being able to all of a sudden going, oh, that's over there and that's over there, it takes you by surprise almost. Well, it took me by surprise almost. I speak for everyone else. A lot of people have been saying, oh, Paul, you've lost weight, which is really good to some people. It's not really a phrase I want to hear personally, because but then I equate weight to, mass, not body fat. And I should just say thank you, shouldn't I, really? Should just be gracious. But I think that might be to do with the fact that my body's absorbing those calories and actually putting them back into the system, as opposed to sort of storing them, perhaps. So they have to go to the system to store them, haven't they? Have to look into that, the science behind it. But definitely being able to wake up in the morning without pain, being able to get up and just sort of crack on in a way that I started to think was well, I didn't start to think, I was already I'd adapted to it. I'd adapted to this new way, and then it turns out that it never should have been the way. It should have been functioning the same way the whole time. Is there any regrets I have about choosing to go through with the surgery? Only the, let me check the time there. Only the sort of aftermath of the surgery itself, because as I've previously mentioned, they kind of rushed me in at the last minute, and I think they might have been due to clock out, because by the time they've come to put my staples in, I think they've pinched the skin on one side more than the other, and they've stapled it, and now releasing it means I've got narrow, middle, wide, like staple scars on either side. And my navel, my navel is a complete mess. It's got its own little like guttering now, or shelving, where the skin folds over, and looking at it frontwise, it's kind of squiff now. But at least it's a price to pay. You know, I wasn't looking for a cosmetic. You know, I don't think they really wanted to focus on that, and it was more of a functionality thing. And I don't regret it for now being able to indulge in potatoes again. That's a great one. Is that some potatoes and hummus? I know it sounds ridiculous, but you miss the little things, and being able to sort of indulge in them and you know, day to day, but then be able to go out places and have more options when it comes to you know, menus and whatnot. Because if you've got a, you know, gluten-free vegan, and that's got, you know, hummus, which is, you know, tahini, a lot of fat, I think. I don't know, I've never broken down the hummus into its base part, but it does have a lot of olive oil in it, and tahini does tend to separate, so that's just my association. Yeah, I think that the trying to get back into doing any kind of exercise has been interesting, because as I've mentioned previously, I worked in exercise rehabilitation for certain conditions, so I know to, you know, deconstruct these things and make them work. So that's what I did. And when you think you're doing, you know, pretty well, and you know, you think, okay, I'm gonna consider myself on the path, and you know where you're going with it, and you've got it all planned out. But then there's also feeling normal and kind of forgetting, and that's what I did. So my little boy, my middle boy, he my oldest boy, my middle child, yeah, that's about right. He does a lot of rugby training, and his coach told him to do press ups. So I said, okay, show me what he's showing you then. And it was a terrible form, terrible technique. So I said, okay, change this, change that. Let me show you. And I got into a press up position, and everything just went nope, and it pulled, and I didn't like it. So I kind of very quickly realized that I haven't quite got there yet, and it's a bit depressing in that sense, because, you know, I like I say, it's rehabilitation. There's no abdominal engaging work in there to try and make sure that I don't herniate. You know, there's nothing that's got a lot of downward pressure. It's all very much compound isolation and static stuff, you know. But I do want to get some blood flow to the area, but it's very much a reminder, like a whoa, you know, a bit of a shock. Not a shock like electric shock, but like a, you know, it's a little reminder. Oh, crumbs! I've got someone watching. I do. Hi. I always said I wouldn't know what to do if this happened. Oh no, there's two people watching. Oh Christ, what do I do? Hi, if you've just joined. Oh, yeah, if you're still there. Oh my God. I'm just talking about my experience having had my operation, and it's week 3. So you can probably watch this back, I'll save it. But what I've touched on so far is, oh, and one's gone. Oh, the pressure's off. um, is the effect of being able to eat certain things, being able to sort of get back to normality and then progressing forward. And there's things that you feel a bit anxious about before you go into it, and you've got hopes, but then you also read things on the internet like I did, or you have people who've had the operation, or their parents have had the operation, their friends have had it. They've seen so many benefits from it, but they've also had, they've got to warn you about the chances and the risks and whatnot. Now, I had that before I went in, and it was rather intimidating, but this video and all the videos that preceded it in this topic are about my experiences, because I was one of the guys that was fearful of it. So the week 4, I shall try get back to a normal sort of diet. I'll try to control and remind myself about those little changes I've got to make, because there is no returning to a normal post-surgery, because the organ that's there to facilitate a function is gone, and it's now just this constant flow of bile, which is all well and good, but it requires a certain amount of effort to remind yourself, because I think we get used to certain characteristic behaviors and whatnot, and then all of a sudden they say, I'll fix it, but it requires a lot of work to keep your head in the game and adapt and change, to prevent yourself from sort of having a new, different kind of pain. So yeah, that's really the point. I'm so totally panicking. Next video I want to make is something a little less focused, as I do. So I'll do one as an update, and then the second one, I had a couple of ideas, but being busy with Christmas and all, I think I may have kind of forgot what I was gonna make the video on. I'm not gonna pretend, but it was a really good idea. But I'm still finding my feet with this. I'm still getting the format right. Hopefully, the format right. Still sort of finding my feet with it to consider what format I can get right. Not the point. Anyway, I'm going to stop blithering on. Thank you, my one consistent watcher. I hope I didn't disappoint. And it's what a wonderful thing to have happen. Filled me full of Christmas joy and whatnot, because I'm used to it. There's nobody watching normally. So I'm going to go, because I've got to go pick my little boy up from school in 15. And like or don't, whatever. And hopefully see you in the week at some point. Merry Christmas. Wait a minute. Big outro. I've been practicing it. Got me all flustered. A skadoosh.